Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you've ever seen the movie The Conjuring, you know the bone-chilling story of the Perron family. But what if I told you the real story is even more terrifying than what you saw on screen? Today, we're diving deep into the dark history of the real Conjuring House, the Arnold estate in Harrisville, Rhode Island. This isn't just a movie set. It's a place with a documented history of paranormal activity that has terrified residents for decades. We'll explore the true events that tormented the Perron family and the subsequent hauntings that continue to this day. So, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's uncover the secrets of one of the most haunted houses in America. The story begins in the winter of 1970 when Roger and Caroline Perron moved their 5 daughters into what they thought was their dream farmhouse. The 14-room home sat on 200 acres of beautiful land, and it seemed like the perfect place to raise their family. But, from the very first day, strange things started to happen. The previous owner gave them a cryptic warning as he left. "For the sake of your family, leave the lights on at night." They didn't understand what he meant then, but they would soon find out. The disturbances started small objects moving on their own, strange sounds echoing through the halls, and a broom that would mysteriously sweep the floor by itself and then lean back against the wall. The girls reported seeing spirits, some friendly, but others were far from it. As the days turned into weeks, the activity escalated. The family began to smell rotting flesh for no reason. Beds would levitate a few inches off the floor, and a cold, ominous presence seemed to follow them everywhere. The children were often the primary targets. One of the most malevolent spirits seemed to be a woman the children called Bathsheba. Historical records show that a woman named Bathsheba Sherman did live on the property in the 19th century. She was a suspected Satanist who was accused of sacrificing her own infant to the devil, though she was never convicted. Legend says she cursed the land before she died, vowing to haunt anyone who dared to live there. Caroline Perron believed this was the entity that was tormenting her family. The spirit of Bathsheba seemed to have a particular hatred for Caroline. It would physically assault her, leaving her with bruises and puncture marks. Caroline described feeling a sharp, piercing pain in her leg one day, and when she looked down, she saw a perfect concentric circle of blood, as if she had been stabbed by a large sewing needle. This malevolent presence wanted Caroline out of the house, seeing her as a rival for the role of mistress of the estate. The family was in a constant state of fear. The children would wake up to the smell of decay and see dark figures standing at the foot of their beds. Doors would slam shut, and disembodied voices would whisper their names in the dead of night. Desperate for help, the Perron family contacted the famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren in 1973. The Warrens were well known for their work on cases like the Amityville Horror. When they arrived at the farmhouse, Lorraine, a gifted clairvoyant, immediately sensed a dark, powerful presence. She described it as one of the most intense and negative hauntings she had ever encountered. The Warrens conducted several investigations, documenting poltergeist activity, apparitions, and the overwhelming feeling of dread that permeated the home. They confirmed that the house was infested with multiple spirits, both human and inhuman, with Bathsheba being the most dominant and dangerous. One of the most terrifying events occurred during a séance conducted by the Warrens in an attempt to contact and pacify the spirits. This is the scene that the movie's climax is based on, but the reality was different, and in some ways worse. During the séance, Caroline Perron allegedly became possessed. Her body contorted, she spoke in a strange, guttural language, and was thrown across the room with incredible force. Roger Perron, terrified for his wife's safety and horrified by the chaos, ordered the Warrens to leave immediately. He feared that their intervention was only making things worse, provoking the spirits into a more violent state. The Warrens reluctantly left, and the Perron family was once again alone with the entities that haunted their home. The Perrons were financially trapped. They had sunk all their money into the farmhouse and couldn't afford to move. So, for another 7 years, they endured the hauntings. They learned to coexist with the spirits. As terrifying as that sounds, they had to accept the strange noises, the moving objects, and the constant feeling of being watched. Finally, in 1980, they saved enough money to escape. They sold the house and left the dark history behind them, but the experiences they endured would scar them for life. Andrea Perron, the eldest daughter, later wrote a trilogy of books titled House of Darkness, House of Light, detailing her family's ordeal. But the story doesn't end with the patterns. Every family that has lived in the house since has reported paranormal activity. One subsequent owner described being woken up by what felt like someone sitting on his bed, only to find no one there. Visitors have reported seeing apparitions, hearing disembodied voices, and experiencing sudden, drastic temperature drops. The house was eventually purchased by paranormal investigators Corey and Jennifer Heinzen in 2019. They weren't looking for a family home. They wanted to study the phenomena. They experienced activity from day one: doors opening on their own, footsteps in empty rooms, and shadowy figures darting down hallways. They even captured what they believed to be a full-bodied apparition on camera. Today, the Conjuring House is owned by Jacqueline Nunez, who continues to allow paranormal investigations and even opens the house for overnight stays for those brave enough to spend a night within its haunted walls. The activity seems to be as strong as ever. Guests and investigators report being touched, pushed, and hearing clear electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs. The spirits of the children who died on the property are often heard playing, while the more malevolent entities, like Bathsheba, continue to make their presence known. It seems the curse on the land is very much alive, and the spirits tied to the Arnold estate are not at peace. The story of the Conjuring House serves as a chilling reminder that some places are deeply marked by tragedy and that the past doesn't always stay buried. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the sheer volume of consistent, documented accounts from different families over half a century is hard to ignore. From the Perron family's initial terror to the ongoing investigations today, the Arnold estate remains a focal point for paranormal research and a source of endless fascination and fear. What do you think? Is it a place of genuine supernatural phenomena, or is there another explanation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the real Conjuring House. If you enjoyed this video and want more true paranormal stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next investigation. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.